Today, let's get into the story of a young man named Nat Bowditch. We're in 18th century Salem, and for Nat, his future feels, well, it feels completely stuck, kind of like a ship with no wind in its sails, just sitting there in the water, going nowhere.
His friend Ben Meeker just hits the nail on the head here. Nat's about to finish a 9-year indenture, basically a contract, where he's been working for a master since he was a kid, and now he's about to be free. But free to do what? He has no job, no prospects, no wind. He is, in a word, becalmed.
And here's the thing, Nat's personal problem, it's happening at the same time as this huge international crisis, which is making his already tiny list of options even smaller. Okay, so picture this. The year is 1796. The whole world feels like it's on fire. You've got England and a revolutionary France locked in this brutal war, and the brand new United States is trying its best not to get sucked in. But American ships, they're caught right in the crossfire. It was a total no-win situation. President Washington says, hey, we're neutral, but nobody listened. Both England and France started attacking American ships, stealing their cargo, and even kidnapping their sailors. And for a port town like Salem, this was an absolute disaster. It threatened to destroy the entire merchant fleet and every single job that depended on it, including Nat. So right as Nat's stressing about his own personal freedom from this indenture, a huge argument breaks out right there in the shop. And it forces him to think about a much bigger question. What does freedom even mean for a whole country?
On one side, you've got his friend Ben, who's convinced America should have sided with France and that newspapers have every right to go after the president. But on the other side is Nat, who's all about unity. He thinks it's just plain wrong for editors to criticize the leader of the country. It's like you're seeing a young America trying to figure itself out. Right there, one room.
And that's when Nat's mentor, Dr. Bentley, overhears all this and just cuts right through the noise with this simple but kind of brilliant little puzzle.
What Dr. Bentley explains is, you can't just have bits and pieces of freedom. The second you say, well, we should restrict this freedom, like the freedom of the press, because some people might abuse it, you're actually arguing against the entire concept of liberty itself. And for Nat, this is a real light bulb moment.
Just when it seems like Nat's world is closing in on him, a door swings wide open. A totally unexpected opportunity comes along that could finally get his life moving.
I mean, sure, the sea offered a path forward, right? A career, some adventure. But in 1796, what kind of future was that, really? The truth was, it was terrifying. I mean, every ship that limped back into Salem's port brought more horror stories. The British were literally kidnapping American sailors off their own ships. French privateers were constantly attacking merchant vessels. And if the war didn't get you, disease might, like what happened to a local kid named Sammy, who died of fever. Even the big-shot diplomats couldn't fix it. The Jay Treaty with England solved absolutely nothing. You can feel the frustration in people like Captain Gabout. He's so mad about the failed treaty that he swears up and down he's never going to sea again. And then, like 2 days later, he signs on to captain the Henry, a ship owned by the legendary merchant Elias Haskett Darby. And then, everything changes for Nat. Captain Gibbard himself walks up and offers him a job on that very ship. Not just as some deckhand, but as the ship's clerk for a huge voyage to the Isle of Bourbon, way off the coast of Africa. We're talking about a chance to sail on a famous Darby ship. Gibbard tells him the job is perfect for him. It's about brains, not brawn. It's all about numbers. As the clerk, he'd handle the books, and if he did well, he could get promoted to supercargo, the person in charge of all the buying and selling. It was a career path practically designed for Nat's skills. So this isn't just a job, it's a real shot for Nat to invest in himself. And he decides to go for it, to take this massive risk and bet everything he has on this one trip. And when I say everything, I mean everything. This is it, $135. After 9 long years of indentured servitude, this is his entire life savings, and he's about to put every last penny on the line. But he's smart about it. He goes and finds an expert, a guy who's actually from Bourbon, and asks for advice. And he gets this amazing tip. The French Revolution has totally cut off supplies to the island. They are desperate for clothes, especially shoes. So Nat takes his entire life savings and invests it all in boots and shoes. But it doesn't stop there. He dives into studying navigation. He copies an entire logbook by hand to learn the ropes. He is all in.
Okay, so his money is spent, his new cargo is being loaded onto the Henry, and Nat heads down to the wharf, probably just expecting to hear when they're finally setting sail.
But that is not what he finds.
Instead, he sees Captain Guibault storming toward him, absolutely furious. And right away, you just know something is very, very wrong.
And then, boom, Guibault just explodes. He yells that he's quit, that he wouldn't captain the Henry for its powerful owner, Elias Haskett Darby, even if Darby gave him the ship for free.
And just like that, in a single instant, Nat's entire future, everything he so carefully planned, just falls apart. The captain who hired him? Gone. The job he was promised? Vanished. And all his money, his entire life savings, is now just a bunch of shoes sitting in the hold of a ship he's not even sailing on, which is now being run by some captain he's never even met.
He's not just becalmed anymore. He's been shipwrecked before he even left the harbor. After waiting for 9 years, his one big chance has completely collapsed. The question isn't just what will he do next? It's what can he possibly do now?